Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to jump back on uh, the 90 Twin. We're going to build the top end back up. I got the rings that I needed and gaskets, so it should be good to go. So let me get you overhead and we'll get to it. Okay, just going to give this a quick pour with the ball hone, just to deglaze it. Just don't see any point. There's very little wear in it. Hit it just a little bit more. And this is a 600 grit. Yeah, looks good. Just don't see any point in doing any more to it than that. That's because there's just no wear to it. We don't want to take a bunch of metal out. Okay, I've discovered some stuff here that, well, you just do. You discover things when you dig into them. Take a look at both these pistons. See, we've got a kind of a flat top right here and nothing here. It's a round top. They're both marked the same, except I marked left hand on this one as I took it out. So it was over here and this one was over here. But what I discovered was I've got a difference in piston cylinder clearance, and by swapping them I can get a better clearance. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. First, this is for Frank. He wanted to put a quarter on one just so you could tell how big those pistons were. So I've got a quarter on it, and it's probably just a little bit bigger than $50 is what I'm thinking. But anyhow, there you go, Frank. Okay, first thing we need to do is measure our pistons. And we'll just start with this one. This, like I say, this came out of the left side. I marked it from coming out of there. And again, we're measuring for 10 millimeter from the bottom of the skirt. So I think you'd agree that's about right. What I do is I just straddle my spot there, so it's right in the middle of my anvil when I measure. And on that one, we are 1/4/36 5. 1 inch 4/36 5. Okay, I've been kind of going by 3 on that, but I got 5 on that one. Okay, this one, same thing. I've got my mark here. Okay, and we're at 1/4/37 3. So just about a thousandths difference on the two pistons. So that's where I came up with originally when I measured. And let me tell you how Yamaha wants you to measure. Anyway, on this particular one, they want you to measure at 4 spots and then average those 4 spots. And they can't be, I don't know, there's a difference that it cannot be, but really you're going to end up doing the same thing. You're going to average those 4 spots. That's going to be your cylinder, the size. Then you're going to measure your piston at the 10 millimeter from the skirt, and that's going to be your piston size. So that's where you get your difference. And what I did, and I did a little short clip on this. See if I can get you in here. I did just a ball hone on it because it was so close. And actually, I had to go back on the left one after I swapped the pistons and give it a little more clearance. So I went back to the sun and hone and did that. And this one, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there was some scoring right down here. You can see some up and down marks from about here to here. And it was just set up too tight. And this side was okay, but it actually set up a little bit loose. So what I did was I swapped them so that I could use the bigger piston in the bigger hole. Okay, so like I said, we swap pistons from side to side to get our better clearance. And you know, they're telling me that I should have basically 14 to 16 when you're setting up a new one. And I'm going to have to get you back here. So I'm setting at about 12 on this one. 12 to 13. And I'm going to accept that because it's actually looser than it was. When I started, it was coming in at 0.9 or 9/10 thousandths. And that is just too tight. I believe the 12 to 13 is pretty good. Oh, I've got to set up this is the one that is a thousandths different. So I've got to reset my bore gauge for that one. For the other piston. So on that one, we're actually at about 17 to 18. And before I swapped it, it was right at 19 to 21 is what I was getting. So about 18. So that's a little bit beyond what they want you to have for setting up a new one. Like I say, it's supposed to be 14 to 16, but you can be looser, it will run okay. But that's where they want you to set it up. But we don't have a choice unless we could come up with another piston. And I just think that one of them was bored a little bit bigger. And what I think may have happened was that they actually replaced one cylinder. And that's how they got a different piston here too. You know, this is going to make it a little bit different in the combustion chamber area. Not a great amount, but it could be a cc or something like that. I'm not worried enough about it to try to measure it, but anyhow, that's what I ended up with. So we're swapping pistons side to side, and we're actually at about 17 to 18 here, and 12 to 13 on this side. So that's what we're going to go with, and I don't expect to have any problems. But yep, that was we had a little scoring in this side, and this side was good. And all I did was a ball hone at first, and then when I needed some more clearance, I went back to the sun and hone on this one to take a couple of 10,000ths out to get me a little bit looser. I just didn't want to put it back together that tight. So I'm happy with this, and we've got a new set of rings. I've already got these kind of set aside for left and right, and these were the right ones. And it's calling for 6 to 14 thousandths. Nope, got one in there. And I'm right at 10 on the lower ring. Upper ring is the one with the Teflon finish. And again, right at 10. And over here, that one is a little bit bigger at 12. And that one's 10. So the two lowers are 10. This one actually, it was a lot less. I don't know if you can see the shiny area here, but I had to actually file it a little bit. I haven't had to file a ring in a long time, but I use my ring filer, and this is actually made for automotive. So you're supposed to actually put the ring like this and push it down, and when you come in contact with these, it squeezes it together and then you just turn it to file it. In this case, you've got to squeeze it together manually. I probably need to make this a little bit closer or make it so it's adjustable, but like I said, I haven't had to file a ring in a long time. Usually they're within, but that one was a little tight. So we brought it into spec. I've actually lapped the top of the cylinder. I put red Dykem on here and the same on the cylinder heads, and everything is flat, and I'm going to accept the way it is. This one here actually has got a little, it's got a little divot right here and a little divot right there, And you could see that in the old gaskets that came off of it, but there's enough around it to seal, so there shouldn't be any problem resealing this cylinder and head. Okay, now let's talk about rings just a little bit. These are Keystone rings, so there's basically a 7-degree angle on the upper portion. The bottom is flat, now on both of them. And if I don't think you can see it. I can't hardly see it. I used my magnifying glass, and right over here it says N2. Yep, N2. And this one will say N1. Same thing. I know you're not going to be able to see it. Like I say, it's tough to see. But you look for the N1 means that it's for the top and the top ring. Otherwise it goes in this direction and it goes in the top groove. And this one says N2, meaning this is up and it goes in the second groove. So that's the next thing I need to do. I'm going to try to get those. They're very small and very fragile, so I'm going to at least get the bottom one on, and then maybe I'll show you the second one. But they're so small it's really hard to do anything with, so I don't want to mess it up. Okay, that one went on pretty easy. And again, this is the up. And another way you can tell is where the pin goes too. But even if you didn't have that, it is marked. So just squeeze and then push them down. Okay, the bottom one, I started it just like the top one that I showed you there. Then I got my little pliers here and squeezed it enough just to slide it down. Maybe I can get the other one on without too much fanfare. This is the one we had to grind a little bit. They're really tight and really small. Oops, I didn't want that to fall into that groove. Yeah, let me mess with this. Okay. Okay, looks like we got them like they ought to be. And again, this one was the left one, now it's the right one. Okay, I think I'm ready to put the pistons on. Just a reminder again, on your cylinder prep, especially after it's been honed, use automatic transmission fluid, doesn't matter what type, just use that to clean it. Your rag is, if you use a paper towel, it's going to be white, and when you put the ATF on it, it's going to be red. And you want to clean this until it comes out just red and white. If you've got any dark in it, you haven't cleaned it enough yet. So you just keep cleaning it. And the reason is automatic transmission fluid is very high detergent. So it is very good cleaner. So just think about that next time. Just grab you a quart of that and take care of your cleaning operation. Then when you put it together, you use your oil. All right. Now, just a little prep I see there is some, you can kind of see some dark stuff here, but it's, believe me, the gasket is gone. There's grooves, like when they did the milling operation, you see that, and that's kind of where the gasket was pushed down into those grooves. But I went around and I very diligently cleaned this. And of course the new gasket's going to take up any imperfections. But I use this Motion Pro gasket scraper. It's very good to get in. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but it's just a good scraper. And they actually have a steel scraper and a brass one. And use the brass on aluminum. And what you're going to, it's actually going to deform a little bit. So what I do is I keep my little file here so I can touch that up once in a while. And as long as you do that and you don't try to dig into anything, it will take that gasket off and not scratch or gouge your aluminum. So just keep your little file around so you can kind of knock off the, where it wants to fold up when you're getting into the scraping operation. But anyhow, that works very good. It's especially for these little motors. It's very tough to get in here between all the studs here. So I don't have a seal yet over here for the mag side. I've got some other stuff. I haven't even got it ordered yet. I'm trying to get to my free shipping. So as soon as I do that, I'll go ahead and order that. But I can go ahead and do this today. And I've already cleaned all this up. So I can take these paper towels out of here for right now anyhow. And see a couple little spots there that I want to clean out. And same on this side. I'll be putting these back in, or not these, but another one, before I put the E-clips on. So I'll just start with this side over here. Let's see, get our gaskets. Let's see here, I believe it's going to go like that. And then the same over here, but mirrored the other way. Okay. I got a couple little specks in here too I'd like to get rid of. It's probably just little pieces of gasket material, but it doesn't belong in there. Okay, let me get this cleaned up here. Everything is very dinky. Okay, that's the left, so I want the right one. Already got the bearings and pins cleaned. These have got a little, it's just a brown spot. It's from the bearing where it runs, but it's probably from a little bit of heat and a little bit of oil. I can't take it off with lacquer thinner, but I can't feel anything. So I'm going to go with it. And just a little Yamaha lube here on my bearing. And I want to get, let's see, this side here, I want to get the clip in already. I've got new clips. Let me get a plier here. Okay, there's the arrow to the exhaust port. Okay, just make sure it's seated in there. And we'll just put a little Yamaha lube in on the pin side and the other side. And on the pin itself. Everything is dinky with this. Dinky, dinky, dinky. Okay, got that one in. And we're gonna get our other clip in, but I'm going to close these holes up. You just do not want that clip to fall down inside there. Not unless you intend on tearing the bottom end out. Okay, that one's in too. So the right one's on the left, and I will go ahead and get the other one installed and then bring you back. Okay, I'm not sure how we're going to fare getting this all in, but we'll attempt it. You want oil in your ring groove. And of course you want your rings oriented with the pins. Looks like about right. And get some oil inside the cylinder. All right, let's see how much it's going to fight me here. Okay, I think it's started. I want it to mess up the gasket on the way down. Okay. So far, so good. Get around to the other side here. That was almost too easy, I think. That probably means this side's not going to be as fun. I'm going to go ahead and try to bring this up. Okay. Get our pins located. And the oil in. All right. See if this one's going to be nice too. All right. So far, so good. All right. Not too bad. Yeah, looks good. These were a lot easier than the most of the dirt bikes. I noticed that the taper on the bottom of the cylinder is a little more exaggerated, so that probably helps get the ring started also. These are actually brand new, but they're a little tarnished. And I believe if you look here, see how big they are? I believe they're probably the same for the YL100. I think the base gaskets are the same too. Had to move you up a little bit. And so far our lines are surviving. That's saying something with these old plastic lines. Wow, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get those on there or not. Just like that, I guess. And I hope I don't drop anything in that spark plug hole. But I put the spark plug in there, but I think it'd be in the way. I don't know. I just don't feel good about it. I'm gonna put, you know, they're not on yet, so I guess it'd be easy enough to fish them out. But I'm just gonna put them on there, or in there right now, until I get all this taken care of. Everything is so dinky. And I'm just going to try to put these nuts in the socket like that. That one kind of jumped around on me. There we go. Been raining here the last at least 3 days. Pretty steady. Wished we'd got it a couple months ago, but we'll take whatever we can get. Yep. Just been a really dry, hot summer, and we're really needing the moisture. I was kind of hoping that it wasn't going to snow before we got some rain. It should be safe there now. Let me get a torque wrench set up. Okay, they never really tell you on your torque. There's a table in there that talks about the different size bolts. And these, of course, are 6mm bolts. And they tell me by doing that, we want to go to 85 inch-pounds. And I start and go up in increments. I've got the torque wrench set up at 40. And we're breaking torque right there. That one's at 40. I actually take it up slowly, just by hand, by feel. And then we break it at 40. And I'll just move it up to 50. So we're just slowly increasing it. They give the foot-pounds and Newton meters in there also. But I've got my inch-pound torque wrench, so that's what I'm going to use. And be sure to do a cross pattern when you're doing it. And I'm just going to work my way up, and when I get to the final torque, I'll bring you back. Okay, we're on our final torque of 85 inch-pounds. you go. So all torqued down. Okay. Get our banjo bolts back up for the oil injection lines. Using the new washers, these were the ones that come off. They're kind of a white nylon. The replacements are the copper ones from Yamaha. And I'm just going to try to get that snuck back there behind it. And hang on to these lines, don't let them wrap, because they will break. Okay, just snug them up. I'm having a little bit of trouble with that one. There it goes. Just had to line all that stuff up. Okay. All back up and ready to run, I think. Everything sounds good there so far, except banging around here on all this other stuff. All right, I think we're back together. We've got a nice honed cylinder. We've corrected the clearance problems for the most part. There's not much you can do with without another piston or something. But one of them is just 1/1000th bigger than the other one, and there's just nothing else we could do about it. I think it'll be fine. So just a little look at the whole item. Like I said, I've got to get a seal. I'm going to put one in on this side. It started right up, and there was just a little seepage here. So I'm going to put this one in and hope for the best on the other side. It's a lot better than the old rusty barrels that were on it. And I went through and bead blasted the heads, and actually bead blasted the cylinders too, and then painted them with barbecue paint, and you saw the rest. So there we go. The AE2 plugs that I have up there are an Autolite plug. I was able to find those online, and let's see, they are the same as a B7HS in GK. It's really getting hard to find NGK plugs that are not resistor, and I don't, most of your caps are already a resistor. So if you add resistor plug to it, you could end up failing to spark, or at least it's going to tear down your, it's going to make more resistance than it was built to be for. So what we're probably going to end up having to do over time is go and replace all our caps with non-resistor caps, and then when you can't get anything but resistor plugs, then you'll have a fix for it. Okay guys, there you have it. We got the top end back on the Twin Jet 90, and it's all ready to go on the top. We've just got to change out the seal on the mag side, put all the electronics back on, and put it back in the frame. So keep an eye on that. It's coming up. So I guess that's probably all we can do. One thing that I did notice when I took this thing apart is all the crankcase screws look like they've been removed before. So this thing's been into, and if the mileage is right, 5,200 kilometers or whatever it is, that's about 3,000 miles. So it's very low miles engine to have been taken apart already. And like I said, I have a feeling that they replaced a piston and a cylinder because they didn't bore it. Both cylinders are actually pretty close to the same. It's the piston that is off each way. There is a little difference in the cylinder, but not a lot. So, if I could have found another piston, standard piston, I probably would have bought it, but the only ones I'm seeing out there are 25 and 50 oversize. So this is the best I can do with what I've got, is just swap this, make it as tight as I can by moving parts around. And that's what I did. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.